Thank you for joining us for the final game of the evening. It is FlyQuest Academy versus Golden Guardians Academy, Crumbs. And this is a fun one. Despite the standings discrepancy between these two teams, this should be a very competitive match.
And I think the competition begins in the mid lane for these two teams because Blaze Olive and Triple have been kind of the linchpins for both their rosters. Despite Golden Guardians focusing so much of Darshan Zion Spartan's lane, Blaze Olive still continues to be a driving force there, and Triple, well, he picks up some clean wins off of some unique picks too.
I feel like when Triple is playing well, he is such a force in FlyQuest games. And I actually kind of feel like that's the FlyQuest Academy story in general. Like, when the top side's firing, going aggressive, and the bottom lane's feeling all stable and good, this is the team that can take wins off everyone. To me, they're not, like... They are much better than their 5-7 record indicates, is how we'll put it, right? And certainly Golden Guardians do have to recognize them as a threat. We'll take a look though at those champions you mentioned, Crumbs. I think we're missing one as well. Oh yeah, Syndra Oriana, the two common ones that he's only played one each, aren't on this graphic because he's played so many other sweeter champions.
It's interesting that he hasn't played Galio, which is such a common pick right now. So he has the global and the TF, but he's busted out the Kassadin and the Kog'Maw, which are more of a let's scale and try to win the game, and it definitely works out sometimes alongside that Corki. So his pool, pretty verse, but how about we see a Blaze Olive? Where does he stand? Well,
he's got a man.
Yeah, this is just like if you were to just get rid of a Blaze Olive's champion pool, just call it meta champions right now, and you get the same list.
Yeah. Maybe he just goes to like Lolalytics or something. He just looks up the most popular ones. Like, okay, those ones. No, I'm sure he doesn't do that. But Blaze Olive has been, again, so consistent on this team. And while he has taken more of a supportive role, in part because I think that's what the meta says you should be doing, he's still been exceptionally good in lane, but also out of lane with those globals. I think we've beaten like how good TF is to death at this point, but it's the amount of influence he has from the mid lane is one of the reasons he's been such a good player. He's not just like, oh, I'm a strong mechanical player that can, carry on control mages by myself. He's like now more of a rounded team player as well, and he's had a super good run in Academy ever since winning on TSM, coming to Golden Guardians, and just kind of continuing to evolve as a player, which has been nice to see. And kind of all this leads to this point where Golden Guardians are favorite, Crumbs, but FlyQuest to me have proven that they can be any team if they're playing well. And that included TSM, who again have started to pick up some losses. We'll take a look at their final team fight from their exchange earlier last week.
And look at how fed Triple is in this game. 5-0-1 on the LeBlanc 500 gold bounty. It's what you want to see when you're playing these kinds of champions. And if he can deliver a strong mid lane game as well, I think they definitely can do this. Now, the difficult side here is that Golden Guardians, because they are improving, have actually started to add variance to who they put most of their resources on. So much of the split was, well, they're going to play for topside, and to an extent, that's still true, but we have seen them bust out some games where they help out Keith, and they just crushed. Keith still being in form makes it that this team is still one of the most dangerous up-and-coming threats.
And we heard this a little bit from Blaze Olive when I talked to him last week as well, where he said that now that Chime's a bit more integrated into the team, because remember, he was like from Scouting Grounds. This is a new to competitive, or new to professional play at least, player. I think now that the team is more on the same page, they've looked a lot better, and they're looking to take, I believe, their 4th straight win in a row if they can pick it up here. So we'll see what the draft has in store for us. It does not have a Blaze Olive Galio in store, because that one's banned away as the first one for FLYA Academy. Is Callista also going to be put on the ban list?
I want to see if Bard gets put on the ban list since it's so good right now, and Chime is just an animal on that pick.
Right there in the name.
Okay, Karma, Blaze Olive's pick, definitely not Chime, so making sure that the red side doesn't get away with a really strong flex champion like we saw EG just confuse the enemy all the way to the end.
And look at this Karthus ban. I mean, certainly potentially a bit less potent in the jungle, though I think still viable. But we have seen mid Karthus in the LCS. It's a champion that people were talking about on this patch because he did get buffed. And again, we've talked about how diverse Triple has been. It's cool to see him presumably picking up a Karthus ban, even though he hasn't shown a single game of it, just based on the fact that he is willing to play the strong meta picks, even if they're not, as stable or as consistent as maybe some of your traditional control mages. So kind of a fun start to the draft here, both TF and Galio getting banned out. But first pick Volibear into Ashe and Graves. Ezreal is notably absent from the priority list here, Crumbs.
I think that the FlyQuest team will have no problem just picking that one up right now. It just makes a lot of sense thus far, and you would not be giving much away for what your composition is about. They're just really solid picks right now, and whoa, the Jhin from Mash wanted to spice things up. He's tired of Ezreal too.
I mean, Ashe is a very good laner. She's kind of one of the other de facto champions now that Varus has fallen off due to the nerfs on this patch, so and definitely a champion Keith really likes. See if this one gets picked up as well. This is a flex, although we have most commonly seen Pantheon at support, and it will be locked in here.
Oh, Pastry. These two teams are just copying their main rosters. That's what I'm getting at of this, because Ignart loves playing Pantheon support, and then Golden Guardians in their most recent upsurging, like, most inspiring wins. They love this early rotation. They put a ton of priority on the Ashe as well as the Graves, whether it's for FBI or Closer or Hard or Keith. They're going with it again, and the spicy thing is going to be the Thresh there. So I think Thresh, when you see the Pantheon, is a pretty valuable tool, more so than a Bard, because just being able to bail out somebody out of those engages from the back is really useful, and you can actually play the Pantheon off of the stun, put him at a disadvantage. So there's some value there out of the pick, and it's the safest blind that you can get.
I think the other thing to consider is Ezreal's very self-sufficient as a champion, and Bard's quite greedy as a support, where Ashe is very mobile. So I think just having a little bit more PL for your Ashe is maybe the other thing to consider. But I think in either case, picks would be good here. I do like Thresh. I'm excited to see Chime potentially pop off on it. And more bizarre... Not that bizarre. I mean, we've seen these champions, Rumble and Cassidy, getting banned away from these mid laners as they just start punching each other's champions out in the ban phase.
So I think the Rumble is because the combo that we saw from CLG proved to be pretty powerful. Rumble with the Jhin can actually be really annoying to these immobile champions like the Ashe. Even if she has the Thresh, it can be a nightmare for her to deal with, getting locked down on top of the pineapples. And the Cassidy reminds me, or at least tells me, that I think Triple wants to play a Azir or Corki.
That's a good point. Cassidy is good into both those champions. And there's the Malphite ban. I guess, like Aphelios, Jhin is also pretty immobile, so want to take the very good into these champions and makes my AD very sad champion out of the game. Not a champion I would associate with Zion, to be perfectly fair, but I'm sure one he's capable of playing if Golden Guardians Academy did want to go that route. We'll see what their pick out of this phase there is, though, as all 10 bans are done for this game. Okay. And it's going to be Syndra. Pretty safe blind mid there.
Yeah, nothing special there. Kind of just a meta slave, like you were saying earlier. It's true. Just
He's
busting
consistent.
it out. Now it makes it harder for Triple to take a pick on his own. This would be thrilling.
This would be so spicy.
Do it.
It's a skill matchup too.
Oh, okay. He's buying more time with it. Aww.
Okay, this I like a bit more. Zoe here for Triple. I know it's not as exciting, Crumbs, but
hey, she's got a cool skin now. She can make good plays.
Another good skill matchup. I also assume this matchup got better since the Syndra nerfs. Like, we don't talk about them that often because Syndra didn't really go anywhere as far as play rate goes, but not being as good at clearing out waves with level 1 Darksphere is relevant, as there's no way we're flexing this around. So Chime's just showing off his favorite champion. Wukong was the final pick there for Fly.
I would love to see a solo lane Bard, but you're right. Dreams sometimes must be put on hold for better champions like Maokai.
Maokai!
You thought that Zion wouldn't play Malphite, but he'll definitely take the Maokai.
I guess I'm wrong.
He's willing to do what it takes to win.
I just want to point out that we have Wukong Maokai in the top lane, and Ornn is open. So, I don't know what's been happening, or if I'm just behind on the cutting edge of top lane technology, but this is a really cool draft. Like, I think ultimately, like, these are just, like, pretty safe, consistent 5v5 comps where they're going to look to get an edge, you know, in whatever strong lanes they have, and then, like, snowball into the mid game, like, you know, we see in so many different games. But like the champions chosen, the decisions made in this draft, the setup we have for this game is really interesting. So kind of excited to see these two teams do battle,
Not gonna
especially
lie.
with Zion potentially taking more of a passive role in this game.
I thought you were going a different way with the absence of Ornn. I thought you meant, why is Ornn not being taken? What's going on? So, yeah, let's see
I mean,
what
I'm surprised
this
he's not
Maokai
in this
does.
game if you
Right.
wanted to play a tank, but
Exactly. Maybe they forgot. It happens. It does happen.
just forgot about Ornn. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, Ornn, like, Zion has been all like GP Jace most of this split, right? And he certainly can play tanks. Like he's had a very long career. I trust him to play Malphite and Friends, but Ornn is like one of the more aggressive tanks you can play. Like for a long time, he was the only tank because of how good he was. So I don't know what Maokai is giving you that Ornn wouldn't give you and potentially be better for, but I'm excited to find out because I assume Maokai has been in the lab for Zion Spartan in the top lane.
You know, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I still prefer the Ornn. I personally really think Ornn is just really good. I mean, you got a point and click root, so you've got that going on for you. Like I think that's the best thing you've got compared to Ornn against a Jhin. Like, imagine how easy it would be, because you'd also have the added tool of just stopping his ultimate dead in his tracks with his ulti. So there's a lot of playmaking he can make.
Does Pantheon E do the same thing that Braum E does to Ornn? I feel like that's how the action's supposed to work,
No,
but
I
I've
don't
never
think
seen
so.
it. Okay.
I think
But that was my only thing.
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, here's another one. Harder to dive. So if you're going to play weak side, I think it's harder to dive the Maokai. Much harder than it is to dive the Ornn. Because
Okay.
Ornn's knockup can be messed around with, whereas Maokai basically does an alpha strike and disappears and then roots you, becomes untargetable. So that could be a good move for playing weak side. So maybe that's what he's banking on, but I'm still leaning and I'm doubling down on they forgot Ornn was up.
I mean, you're talking about Golden Guardians Academy and Zion Spartan playing weak side. I'm already scared, Crumbs. I don't want to talk about this anymore. We are going to take a quick break to build up game delay as a result, but when we come back, we'll have the game right from the start. Hello again, and thank you for joining us for our final game of the evening. We are about to get into for Golden Guardians versus FlyQuest Academy. Almost thought about doing a test again. I'm still thinking about Froggen's Galio, apparently, where Golden Guardians have thrown us a very different look, Crumbs. It's almost like they've heard us say for weeks that they always play for topside. Darshan's constantly getting counterpick and playing aggressive champion. Said, you know what? We're a more flexible team than you think, Pastry. We'll show you. And they counterpicked Maokai.
It's yes, it's good that they're listening because we do offer some good insight sometimes. Other times it's just fluff. But this time we do have a legitimate question. With the Maokai counterpick, what is going on? Because Ornn was up. If you're in the camp of Ornn, they forgot Ornn, we got to know what's happening because we were on the case, and I still think it was an error. I would have loved to see the champion there because it's what the main team does as well. The drafts are starting to fall into place with what the main LCS teams do, and the LCS team loves to double down on the Ornn if they're going to play the Ashe or the Grave. So it's something that a lot of teams do around the world, except Golden Guardians Academy. So we'll wait to see what the Maokai is about.
And so like FlyQuest, have kind of shied away from their own style as well. We've got Wukong again for Revenge in the top lane, and we almost had a fun one for Triple in the mid lane, but going for Zoe instead, which I am at least happy to see, is rising in priority. Again, Crumbs, I feel like, I don't want to say the Prophet, even though it's right there in the handle, but I felt like we just forgot that the champion existed. She's been, I feel like, very good for this meta the whole time, and people just do want to play her for whatever reason.
There's a lot of champions, Pastry. Sometimes you just forget what happens. When you're in the stays of Azir versus Corki, days start to feel like weeks, and you don't really know what's going on, but we do see a level 1 invade. So maybe this was what they had in mind. A cheese play with Maokai. You can actually just go for a nice and easy route into a level 1 kill, but they're not even going to go for that. Maybe it's the sapling start, and you help out hard even more. So there's a lot of little things, but do all of those things add up to be better than Ornn?
I don't know. I'm excited to see how it plays out, but we'll see what Zion gets done here. As a 3-stack in this little brush here for Golden Guardians is maybe going to spot somebody walking a silly way to their lane. And another electrocute Zoe here. Getting away from the utility of the spellbook today. Also, no cleanse for Zoe feels very bold against Sidra and Ashe and Maokai, but we'll see what happens here. Late invade for Golden Guardian, so is going to force Big out of there. He's going to run away with the butter on the spear. And Golden Guardian's going to take this red buff.
Okay, and look at what Zion is doing on the top side of the map. He's warding, trying to make sure that they know if Fnatic goes for a red buff counter invade. So Hard has an opportunity to 3-buff the Volibear. He'd have to go from mid lane, and going for the Raptors tells me they're not going for it. They're just going to stick Zion on the weak side, and this is going to feel really bad for Big, who wants to play Pantheon aggressively. Uh-oh, wait a minute, Hard is coming, and Maokai's collapsing. They're trying to 3-buff this Volibear.
Yeah, level 2 as well for the Syndra. So Fnatic actually in trouble. Great stun there for a Blaze Olive. Hard's in there with their own buff, and I think Fnatic's just dead. Going to keep going in. The phase rush going to get proc. Hard's going to zoom in there. The shield for Fnatic, maybe not enough. The Dark Spear not going to connect, but Hard, he's got it, baby. Oh, the smite. Going to give him the help, but there's the first blood we wanted.
That actually is doubling down on how big of a mistake that is, because now he doesn't have smite when he makes it back and sets Graves up to counter jungle him more. As Revenge wants something. Revenge, oh, he's level 3. Revenge can win this, so he has that Conqueror.
Yeah, going to walk back towards the Maokai though, but Revenge is looking pretty spooky. Phase Rush though gets out of every situation, doesn't it? And Hard's going to walk on out of there.
Yeah, Phase Rush. So if Nimbus Cloak is Wimbus Cloak, what is Phase Rush?
I don't know. I have to think about that one. But it does feel like it's, a kind of a cure-all for any situation you can be in, including this one where Fnatic did get spotted by that great ward placed by Zion to spot that potential invade for the split map, and straight across mid lane here with the Syndra at level 2 means Fnatic's like, uh-oh, this is a bad time.
So I think what needed to happen there, the only way I could see Fnatic surviving is the second you see Maokai leave lane, he needed to flash over the pit and then live that way, because he doesn't actually know what ward he walked over. The ward could have been in any of these 3 locations: island, entrance, or red buff. So if he sticks at red buff, he doesn't know that he's not being spotted, so he's thinking, I need to bail out right away, and then just dies. But this is a huge advantage for Hard. He's not able to double crab him, but the damage is already done.
He's level 4 and Fnatic's still level 2. Hard is so far ahead. And I guess, you know, kind of extending our conversation about draft and how, like, we're surprised that Zion's, like, playing weak side and, you know, playing tanks. I will say that Hard has quietly had a very good split for himself as well, and they're giving him a lot of power with the way they're playing this game, both in the draft and in the early stages of this game with the invades and splitting up the map. So if nothing else, if Golden Guardians are trying to show us another look, I like that because it shows that they can do more. If you can show that, like, Hard on, you know, a carry-style champion, he's done it on Italy, he's looking good early on the Graves, like, suddenly, especially as we get towards, you know, the playoff section of the season, Golden Guardians now are just, you know, more than a one-note team. They can carry potentially out of every position.
Hard's been around for a while too, and I always thought he had a pretty strong carry champion pool, and it was just a matter of, like, how well can you play around him? What can you do to set him up? We've seen those games where the whole team revolves around him, and that's not really the way to play those junglers right now. You still need your laners to be relevant, so that was a loss that Golden Guardians took, but one where they had a lot of control early, so he's definitely proven that he knows how to play these carry champions early to get a lead, and a lot of these champions revolve around getting those big leads and then transition them into advantages for your laners, who are then going to take the game into the Nexus and just win it for you. It tends to be the case for almost every single way that champions go about getting their gold. The first champion that has the largest advantage is not going to be the one to carry the game. His role is to get the gold into the other players so that then they can then hammer it home, especially the ones that don't have the
Flash play, hook. That's going to be a kill. See you later, Fnatic. Hard's going to grab it. That is just so brutal.
Whew. And Fnatic is a huge part of the FlyQuest wins. When he's having a good game, they're usually winning. If he's having bad ones, well, it kind of looks like this.
Yeah, and looks like a Drake as well. I mean, no contest. Fnatic's level 3 to Hard's level 5.
Double
going to be able to take this dragon out. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that I was like looking at the minimap and I saw it play out in slow motion, and then it happened and I knew there was nothing I could do to stop it. Crime's roam is absolutely on point to support Hard's invade, and Fnatic just got completely owned.
That might be one of Chimes' strength. If he comes from playing so much Bard being such a good roamer, you just have a natural eye for finding those opportunities, and a pick like Graves and Thresh are a deadly combination when playing around jungle.
Absolutely, and Golden Guardians off to another good start here, up almost 1,000 gold, farming up in the mid lane. Plays Oliver is a little bit behind on minions, but not too far, so he's going to be a-okay. Certainly more about the roam pressure anyway, and Blaze Oliver's certainly been pretty active supporting this jungler. Again, as Hard is quickly going to grab the crab and look to get towards level 6. He might be there after this camp as well, actually. Fnatic finally going to get a red buff for himself, as Hard does indeed ding 6, and Fnatic still behind, you know, a little under 2 levels or so.
It gets so rough to play from behind when there's hawk shots flying as well to scout your route, and he is just on a complete radar that Golden Guardians can play around. And they know that he's going to be in the top side. They know that the red spawn, that that's where he'd likely be. The hawkshot scouted the remaining camps on the top side, so they know that Fly is playing around top right now with their jungler. And look at how far back the bottom lane is pushed. There's a big wave stacking here, so maybe Golden Guardians can look for a dive if they want to path down to the bot side. But with the advantage that Hard has thus far, I think we're going to see a lot more focus on objectives, and specifically this Herald, since he can just grab that red and get an early 8-minute Shelly.
Yeah. Seems like an easy take here, as Triple is going to go ahead and have the blue buff donated over. Oh.
Hate to see that, especially now. They do have a redemption, though, so they can be really strong in this fight. Look at how Hard is playing it, though. I like this move out of him, being able to chill
already here
in the pack. There is no Pantheon ultimate, though.
Good hook. Pancake ulti, stun, ulti, Syndra, there we go, flash ulti, that's enough. Triple is going to go down to a Blaze Olive as a Lantern's going to keep him safe. So clinical and so well played by Golden Guardians.
That was really sick, just being able to have that Lantern on the other side of the wall to get back over. And the redemption and heal combo was a lot to burn through, but it's still a Zoe, super squishy.
Oh! It's on 2.0. Sounds fun getting involved against Revenge.
The other aspect of Maokai that we don't really know is how good his lane is versus Wukong. Wukong loves to spam spells, so maybe that was something else about it, but Wukong's getting ganked.
Revenge flashing. It's not going to last too long. He's Pantheon. Those are fun. Going to go down big with the save. Heart's going to die as well. And Revenge gets exactly that as a Blaze Olive and Chime out next into the arena. Stun's going to land onto Revenge. Chime with the hook, but it's going to be blocked by Big. Here comes Fnatic. Boxes up. A Blaze Olive still here, though, but no ulti. So can't re-dive in. Big just going to keep the Syndra away from the Wukong. And FlyQuest going to get 2 kills in the top lane.
Oh, Revenge really saved that one. Being able to use the clone to dodge out of Hard's spells was huge there. Even got a bounty. Hard had 150 gold on his head from that one. And now there's something that FlyQuest can play around. This Wukong is going to be so strong. They're not able to get the pick onto the Thresh, which looked like something they should have gotten. But that fight in the top, I feel like Hard could have played it a little bit better. I know the collateral damage missed. I didn't really get to see where the end of the line went, but certainly not into Wukong, or else he wouldn't have gotten the double kill. So let's see how it played out. So initially, his dash is down, flashes in, Revenge flashes out of the smoke, dodges to the right of the ultimate, and that's all it needs. That's all he needed. At that point, it's already too late. So it was actually just Revenge outplaying it.
Yeah, really well done as we watch this again. Also, I mean, a great stun, but Big knows what to do. Make sure to block the incoming CC from the Thresh. Syndra has no ulti and no flash from the last kill that he got, so no way for a Blaze Olive to really do any more damage. And Revenge gets out of there. He's got a Tiamat. He's building up toward the Trinity Force. He's feeling good right now here in the top lane.
He's going to have to be the carry that FlyQuest needs right now. Even though they had caught up in gold, they're already starting to lose some more of it because the Graves is at the phase where he can just start power clearing, and it's going to be really rough for Volibear to keep up with the disadvantage he suffered early. So, 20 seconds on the Dragon. Golden Guardians is going to fight for that one, and unless Revenge is involved, they're probably not looking for any play on their own.
Certainly not, as... Check in with the 2v2 real quick. It's been just some farming back and forth there. Keith and Mash feeling good on the minion collection front. But Hard does have that Herald, so perhaps thinking about rocketing it down towards the bottom lane to get some tower damage. Also, this Dragon Snowball is still on. Golden Guardians would love to pick up this next Drake here to keep the fast clip of Dragons going for that quick soul Snowball. But there is contest for the objective here by Fly, as they're all grouped around mid/the pit.
Okay, now where are the wards for Wukong to teleport to? The 4v4 definitely in Golden Guardians' favor. But they can poke out hard though. He goes in, gets a nice chunk arena from the get-go. Okay, they definitely can continue this. You pop the Herald, and if this should be 2 objectives for them if FlyQuest does not respond. There's 4 plates bottom, so it's probably just a money grab here, unless it can get a little bit more damage. I think he just hit that demolish, but FlyQuest is engaging.
Here comes Big. Boxes up there for Chime. Going to flame out of the way. See you later, Pantheon. What a grab on the other end is Hard. It's able to take him out. Keith with the arrow lets it fly. And here's a Blaze Olive almost able to find Fnatic with a Stormbringer unstoppable, keeps him safe, but the tower's going down as Golden Guardians Academy. They may have slipped up in top lane, Crumbs, but not in the bottom lane.
They need to fight with Revenge. They are so weak in the other sides of the map. Graves is a champion and a half, when Volibear is half a champion. So you need to make sure that you have your strongest member for that play. They got a little bit ahead of themselves, and they pay the price. Both objectives are now Golden Guardians. They could have just saved one, but they lose them all. And now the only thing they can fight for is gonna be these mid lane turrets. It doesn't even look like we're gonna have another Shelly, which kinda hurts them even more, because you'd love to have a fight around topside since Wukong doesn't even need to TP to that.
Alright, well, Blade of the Ruin King is now finished for Keith, so he's feeling good. In fact, it's first items basically across the board for Golden Guardians. It's Zion, they're hanging out with the tank item garage sale for now. But he'll turn one of those into a full item, I imagine, pretty soon. Looks Looks like Keith is going to be anchored mid lane here alongside Chime, who has continued to be very impressive on this Thresh. I think you said it best, Crumbs. That roam sense from all those hours of Bard play really coming in handy here on the Thresh.
It's what I think to be the greatest strength of players that are known as one-tricks. Because if you're a one-trick of, say, I don't know, Dr. Mundo, there is no skills you're learning that actually translate to anything else. You know, you barely even have skill shots. But there's a few champions on specific roles that if you one-trick them, you can just nail so many other champions. And it tends to be that more difficult, mechanically intensive picks just translate so well to other things. I mean, we've got players like Evolve, Katarina one-trick, really mechanically intensive. Not a lot of skill shots, but a lot of difficult and quick finger moves that you have to pull off. Same thing with junglers like Lee Sin, like we saw Canvey being able to play out the Graves. So Bard, I think, fits that wheelhouse, allowing him to play Thresh as well. So what I'm trying to get at is, if you're out there and you're one-tricking and you want to just stay that way, play something that's difficult, and that way you actually learn skills that translate to other roles if you ever want to go pro.
All right. That's some advice from Crumbs, and good advice it is, as FlyQuest are onto this Herald. Looking for the second, but Golden Guardians say, no, we're fighting. Drowsy, good arrow there, is going to follow up with a stun. Blaze Olive nails it and triples out of there. As Revenger's spinning around, but the box is up. Zion Spartan's TP'd in already. The Herald is getting low. Who's going to grab it? It's going to be Golden Guardians as they pick up the team fight win and the objective. And Zion just clicked W on Fnatic. There we go. Had it back off on cooldown. Nice Stormbringer from Fnatic to keep himself safe. But Golden Guardians, Crumbs, starting to really pick things up.
They played that engage and disengage so well.
Oh, that's nice.
Finding both the arrow and the scatter of the weak, and then the Maokai ultimate I think was actually really useful there because Revenge had a solid angle. I thought he was going to have a field day there, but he could have barely hit a single target. I think he might have gotten 2 people knocked up at best. And for the most fed member that needs to have an incredible fight, not being able to get into the critical targets like the Syndra or the Ashe is hurting FlyQuest more than they would have ever hoped.
Yeah, and definitely seeing that as these fights play out. Golden Guardians just, playing to these objectives, but knowing that FLYA are going to be there and looking for a fight, and happily take the 5v5 there. They're 4,000 gold ahead and climbing, as Triple is going to at least take this crab away from the Baron Pit.
Okay, now Golden Guardians is just going to have a super standard lane assignment there. Solos on the sides. There's still a tier 1 that is somewhat risky for the Syndra to catch right now. That would be the place where FlyQuest could look for somebody. These targets that are by themselves, but Chime hovers between both of them. He's chilling there right next to the Syndra in case something happens. Ashe is relatively safe right now, and they're going to make sure that she can crash this wave, or at least farm it, and then move back into the river. So it's good from the support to recognize, hey, these are the areas that are most vulnerable right now. We need to make sure that they can do their thing before grouping up. They do, and now with the wave on the bot side, FlyQuest needs to send somebody down there to catch that, or else they're just going to miss out on a lot of farm.
All right, well, I did have a check-in with Coach Raz, and I can assure you, Crumbs, they did not forget that Ornn existed. Okay. Absolutely aware that was an option. Did say, though, that it's good matchup in the solo, good engage, good weak side, and a better protection for our carries when grouped for Panth and Volley. So, kind of does a lot of the things we were seeing play out in the early stages of this game. I think in a lot of ways there's comparisons you can make between the two tanks, but clearly working out in this game, and I think has been just as good, if not potentially better, than Ornn would have been, and certainly was not done because they forgot the champ existed. So cool to see Golden Guardians, again, trying something very different. This is about as far away as we can get from pick GP Jason, always go top lane for Golden Guardians, right? They've come a long way as a team.
I'm simultaneously sad but happy that they actually did consider it, because we get to see what the Maokai was all about in that Herald fight with that big disengage, and now he just gets to group up. Level 11, so good. This is not a flanking TP from the Wukong. Oh, he flashes in, and it's good. He has to ult out.
Yeah, Fnatic's going to ult out again. Another defensive volley. Oh, that's the decoy there that got arrowed by Keith. But again, just using the ult as coverage there. Maokai more than good enough in that spot to let Golden Guardians get their third Drake very swiftly here in this game. So they're up now about 5k almost. But on Soul Point as well, looking to snowball this game right down to the enemy nexus.
They are looking great, and that snowball is going to be aided by Hard's itemization. I love this item. I think it is one of the greatest. In fact, I think that item alone might be one of the reasons why people like to play Pantheon support. Being able to have the Umbral Glaive, that vision denial tool, especially combined with Zombie Ward, just makes it so that your vision goes God mode, and it's going to be so hard for FlyQuest to start keeping track of where Golden Guardians is moving. You've got Hawkshots, you've got Scryers, you've got the Sweepers and the Umbral Glaive. It is all about Golden Guardians denying vision at this point, and without Baron being up, it's not that scary. But in a few minutes, when Dragon starts coming up, getting into the river to find vision is going to be nearly impossible for them, because they need to commit, they need to all in. They're not able to find these targets and not put themselves in harm's way. It's one of the weaknesses of Volibear and Pantheon. They are all-in champions.
Hurricane finishing out for Keith as well, so only growing in strength on the Golden Guardian side. Still though, there is wiggle room here for FlyQuest to maneuver. It's going to be tough with the mid outer tower still up and being held very strongly by Keith and Chime, but I think looking to play and contest for this next soul. We know that Fly have the tools to find a pick or find a team fight, but it's been combating the very proficient Golden Guardians that has proven challenging,
to say the least, because they have not found many good fights. And I want to see Pantheon just use that ultimate, because it's kind of what happened to the FlyQuest main team, where the Pantheon wasn't getting a lot of value. Arrow!
Oh! Keith, you absolute wizard, as triples out of there. Chime's going to take him out. Well-deserved kill there. A team effort for sure to get that Zoe, but Keith sets it up with the ulti.
Oh, he needed the perfect play. There would have been a penguin dab to follow, or a top hat, just some.
That's true.
But
the only thing missing.
Still, just an amazing move there, and it is just brutal now for FlyQuest when you burn both sums, still die. That was just, wow, beautiful there out of Keith, seeing what Triple was thinking about.
And here's Zion again. Revenge going to try and finish up the tower. Will do so. Sapling goes down, but Revenge cannot stay. Sunfire Cape Maokai is a little too powerful. Revenge also, I was going to mention this a while ago when he finished the item, but actually went Black Cleaver after this Tiamat. Certainly an item that synergizes pretty well with Wukong, what he wants to do, but not the Trinity Force that I feel like I usually see first. And it looks like that's where Revenge is going next with that Sheen. But
I like it here because you've got the Pantheon support and Jhin too, so I think it makes some sense. Usually, I think this is the only reasoning why Wukongs are going with the Black Cleaver Trinity, is like, oh, you're getting ahead, you're really capable of team fighting and just womboing, whereas this is, I just need to get in and I'll probably die, but at the very least I can shred them and set up my carries and support to dish out some additional DPS.
So Void stuff already done for Blaze Olive as well, so very cost efficient. These early items. Just wanting to do as much damage as he can right now, because in a minute there is a Soul Dragon to play for. Perhaps that's why. No signs of slowing down here from Golden Guardians. They are back to cleaning out vision. They have just played really smoothly, I think is the best word I'd use for this game. This is just from how they split the map and played the level 1 with the early invades, to how they've approached objectives and team fights. This has just been a very clean game from Golden Guardians Academy so far.
They're one of our most improved second half teams, if not the most improved second half team. It's been really refreshing to see where they started and how these games are transitioning. And I think you're spot on about a lot of it being the integration of Chime and being able to play it to more than Zion. And now that he can play these weak side champions and not rely on Hard to help out his lane, then it's just another dimension of the team. And looks like Vig's about to take it to another dimension.
What a great split fight here. Fnatic is getting chunked down. True, Revenge actually on the backside trying to find it. There's a very big knock-up. The Volibear is already dead. The second one's there. Keith into stasis. He goes, and Zion Spartan's blocking all the other carries from getting in here. So Mash cannot finish off the kill. Zion Spartan just kills the support, and the rest of the team's in to try and save him. The Maokai's still alive. Not going to get sniped either. As Golden Guardians find 4 kills, they're going to get the Soul Dragon. And once again, Crumbs, it is played to perfection.
They were so close to taking down Keith and Zion, but the perfect stopwatch and the perfect W from Maokai to get the last kill on Pantheon, as well as his passive auto to live, and the little sidestep too at the end to dodge out of the deadly flourish from Mash. It's just a game that this team can be really proud of here, because that team fight, what was it, a 4-for-0? It's just immaculate. That's the stuff you dream of.
And Golden Guardians continuing to power up here. If they win here, they'll be one behind the two teams currently tied in first. But hold on a second, Biggs charging in. He's looking to try and get disruptive in the Baron Pit. Get the remix in the Baron Pit there with the wall up for Pantheon, having the Ash Arrow slam in. But Revenge, he's also trying what he can, but he is going to fall to a Blaze Olive. Fnatic cannot get in this pit. He's going to die to the Syndra as well. Or he's not going to die, but he's going to not be able to get into the pit either. So it's going to be a win either way. In fact, the Blaze Olive's going to make sure it happens. W is going to be shorted just a little, but there's the kill he was looking for. Thresh goes drowsy, but the Baron's going to go over as Zion Spartan gets yet another kill to take down the Pantheon, and Golden Guardians just not a foot wrong Crumbs this game. Blaze Olive's also starting to pop off as Triple. He's in range. Zion Spartan's going to lock him up. See you later as Hard finds a snipe with the collateral damage, and Golden Guardians, no need to reset. They're going to charge straight down mid.
Jeez, they are just obliterating FlyQuest. Pull the white flag at this point. This team is just annihilating FlyQuest today. They are looking like they are in playoff form. This might be the best game we've seen out of Golden Guardians thus far. They have not let go and haven't fed unnecessarily in these fights. What ends up happening so many times when teams get these early leads is that somebody with a spree does something dumb, they lose a play. The only thing that went wrong was Revenge got an outplay topside. Like, that is the only thing that I think Golden Guardians can look at right now and say, okay, this was our biggest error, our biggest blunder.
Well, if this mask is done, in fact, just watch the graphics fly. There's so many items finished off of that reset for Golden Guardians Academy. Keith's looking for that Death Stance. We've got a Vajay's now for Blaze Olive alongside the Needlessly Loud Rod and his 2 finished items. We've got Elder Dragon in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. We still have 1:45 left on Baron. We've got a great coach. You know, it's looking good for Golden Guardians. Oh, again, Keith just magnetized to Triple. And here comes Zion Spartan with a wraparound. Zoe can't get out of this one. See you later. This Keith's going to get the kill.
Oh, they can definitely end the game off this push. Without Triple, there is no wave clear. That cannon minion's going to have a field day, despite being low HP. And it doesn't even get hit by the deadly flourish, actually. Just want to watch it do its magic. And another inhibitor. Can they end here? You've got Flash on Maokai. Another wave coming. Mid is about to crash. They should definitely look for it. Since Revenge is so low, they can't even fight.
Here comes the Maokai. They're going to push behind it. Golden Guardians looking to end this game. The rest of Fly can't get in. Still 5v4 for 5 more seconds as Triple is down. The next is going to be open. It's the last chance now for FlyQuest to try and save this game. But Golden Guardians too far ahead, too clean, too good today. As FlyQuest will be forced back to the fountain to only be slain. As Mash will get 1 kill and 1 kill only. As the Nexus will fall down. Revenge will try and save what he can. But Blaze Olive is going to go godlike to put an end on that game. 20 kills for the Guardians as they take down FlyQuest Academy.
So impressive out of them from the early invade, right? They had a game plan. They defended the buff. They snowballed off topside objectives. It was just such a clean one out of Golden Guardians. And I want to see what happens when they go up against one of our other cleanest teams today, which was Cloud9, which had an absolute stomping of a game. Those two look like they're ready to go head-to-head and see what comes out.
Yeah, starting to see, the top half of the standings potentially congeal here and come to some sort of conclusion, but I guess we'll see. There's still a few more games to play before that. Let's take a look at the standings, though, at the end of the day, as we do see finish off with the Golden Guardians victory. Right now, 2 teams tied for first crumbs with TSM's loss. That's Cloud9 alongside TSM at 9-4. Golden Guardians now right behind them. Only 1 win behind at 8-5. The Thieves, CLG, and EG all still tied for 4th at 7-6. And then FlyQuest and Dig still looking to get their way out of there at 5-8.
I almost forgot how high Golden Guardians was up in the standings. And right now, I definitely have them up with Cloud9 because TSM and Evil Geniuses, which I thought were some of the other contenders, are going through roster changes. So we don't know what's going on with them. It looks flimsy, whereas those two are stable. They're kicking ass. 100 Thieves, they also have roster changes as well. So I think that Cloud9's latest target is Golden Guardians and vice versa. So I don't know when they face off, but I definitely want to watch that.
All right, well, the Academy split continues tomorrow with Academy Rush, where Dash will go through 5 games of action simultaneously. We'll see current frontrunners Cloud9 Academy going up against Immortals Academy, second place Dignitas Academy versus the third place EG, and more awesome matchups. Crumbs. Sadly, Golden Guardians are not playing Cloud9.
Yeah, okay. Eventually it'll happen. They'll face off at some point, but there's a lot of close ones here. I think particularly CLG TSM could be exciting for me because CLG is kind of surging, and then TSM had a really rough one today, so they'll both be looking to bounce back.
Yeah, GG Thieves as well. Pretty important for the standings, given that those teams are quite close, and the Thieves are looking pretty good with Ken V behind them as well. Friday Night League Day also returns tomorrow, beginning with Evil Geniuses versus Immortals, and closing out with Team Liquid versus FlyQuest, which should be fun to watch. But don't forget that this weekend, TL also have Cloud9 as one of their opponents this weekend, so going to be a big weekend for them.
It is hard to prep for that. When you basically look at spring finals and say, yes, both these teams, those are who we'll be facing this week. Okay. Good luck with that one. FlyQuest not looking like they're in the spring finals form, but still, they are no slouch. And it is kind of a clash of same styles. Both don't really play the early. They're all about scaling up. So it could actually be Team Liquid's one of their toughest matches, because at least against Cloud9, you know they're going to fight you early. FlyQuest is playing the same game you are, and they've won at that before.
You know what, Crumbs? It's this one thing I've learned after years of casting. In Academy and the LCS, you just never know sometimes. That's gonna do it for us here. Now, on behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire remote broadcast crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for Academy Rush and Friday Night League. Good night, Crumbs.
Good night, Pastry.
And good night, everybody else.
Except people who don't wear masks.